Hare Krishna. Right, I think I am being asked to speak a little bit on how I came to Krishna consciousness. This is a very interesting topic for me too, and for everybody. Most of the time, devotees, when they meet each other, they like to ask how they came to be affected by Krishna consciousness. And this is a common question. And a lot of times devotees come and ask me, Maharaj, when did you join? When did you come into Krishna consciousness? What happened to you? Etc. In fact, not only with us, you will see in the Bhagavatam even Narada Muni is relating to Vyasadeva, how he came to Krishna consciousness. How he was a servant-maid son, and before that Bhagavatam relates how he was one of the Gandharvas, and how he gradually got elevated to Krishna consciousness and he became Narada Muni. So this is an interesting topic for many people, and it inspires many of us to understand how Krishna's mercy is working, and how Srila Prabhupada in his wonderful mission is attracting so many people to make a major transformation, a complete turnabout in their existence in the material world. So this is an important occasion. How you came to Krishna consciousness literally means how you started going out of the material world, how you made a turnabout and you're proceeding in a completely different direction from the rest of the people in this world. So it's an important event, not only in one's life, it's an important event in the whole existence in the material world, because it's a turnabout. So I actually came into Krishna consciousness to be simple. I came to Krishna consciousness because of reading Prabhupada's book, Science of Self-Realization. I got this book in the Victoria VT railway station. I was in Mumbai trying to get my admission for masters into IIT Powai, and I was in two minds whether I should take a job, because I'd done my BTech in chemical engineering, and I came here because I wanted to extend my student life, happy life, with no much responsibility. So, but then I was in two minds whether to take a job or extend your student life. And I prefer to extend my student life because I wanted to do my masters and go and do my PhD elsewhere and work as a consultant, etc., etc. But Krishna had other plans. This book came into my hands in the railway station. Some devotees were selling it and they came to me, and I bought this book. And I know that was an amazing book because I liked the title, Science of Self-Realization, and this picture of the changing bodies. I didn't choose all the other books because it was all about Krishna and all that, obviously about Krishna. So I took this book. And it was a bomb that I held in my hands, little did I know, because I was flicking through the pages and I read about reincarnation and soul, and it became very interesting. And I know that I finished the book on the next day, and I was looking forward to meeting a devotee. In the meantime, of course, one other element that influenced a lot is prasadam. I came to the temple, and on Sundays we were standing in a queue and taking prasadam. And there were other two devotees who were quite famous in our movement now. And we went and we shifted from the regular queue which gives khichdi to in Juhu. We went to the queue that is a life membership prasadam queue. Because at the end of the queue we could see that they were giving ghee puris and cheese sabji and some very nice stuff, but in this queue they were getting only khichdi. So these boys, they said that, no, you stand in the queue. I said, no, it's not proper. We are not life patent members. They said, what do you mean by life patent member? Anybody can stand in the queue. and some vague arguments like that. And we stood in the queue, and we were looking a little wild with jeans and some t-shirt, and when this was a devotee, I think a Bengali devotee, he came and asked, "Are you Life Pattern members?" And this person said, "Yeah, we are Life Pattern members." He bluffed for the sake of getting some ghee puris, and I of course stood behind him. And then afterwards, the next week we came too. We stood in the Life Membership queue, and in this way, Sridhar Maharaj was told that there are some boys, they don't look like Life Pattern members here. And these two boys with me were from IIT Mumbai. And Sridhar Maharaj came down to see who was giving trouble. And then he looked at us, and then he asked, "So where are you from?" And we said, "We are students from IIT." Then he immediately told the boy, "Whenever they come, you give them in this line only, prasadam." And the other man looked at me and said, "I told you." And then we had prasadam, and Maharaj said, "Come and meet me." And he gave us a room to the video room. And I remember there was a big curved, screen shining. And I saw Prabhupada in that for some time. It was something like a stainless steel screen, video screen. And I saw Prabhupada's video for the first time, and his interview, and I was a little impressed. And then after that I started coming regularly. I think it was Radha Ras Bihari's mercy. That was a potent factor. So I started reading these books and meeting devotees. Initially I was not very thrilled about jumping and dancing wildly, which I saw many of them doing. But over a period of time I got involved, and the kirtan was nice, the prasadam was nice, and the philosophy was great. So I left Bombay, I went back to Bangalore, and in Bangalore I was visiting the local center on weekends, mainly because I got somebody to speak to on some philosophical things, and also eat some good prasadam. So this was like the beginning. I remember in Bangalore there was a small rented house earlier, and I was visiting, and there was a Malaysian devotee called Ambarish, who would welcome me every Saturday night. I would go to work. I was working as a design engineer, and I would come back in the night, jump the gate, because it was around 10:30 I would come, and he would come and open the door for me, and he would have kept a plate of prasadam. He would say, "Eat," and he would wake me up for Mangalarati. It was an exciting time, and I would attend the Mangalarati in a very small room. There were about some 5-6 devotees. So I think these were the initial days, and they were very sweet, nice, because devotees were taking a lot of care, making sure you get prasadam, you get attention. And it was there that I started chanting Hare Krishna seriously. Ambarish Das, I think he must be somewhere in Malaysia, was taking special care, asking me to chant 1 round, 4 rounds, slowly promoting me. So it was an exciting time. I remember that I was telling him that I don't have time to chant and all that. I can read and sometimes come and hear the classes. And he was saying that you could chant 1 round. And I was telling him I don't have much time. And after 2-3 weeks of very mild persuasion, I said, okay, he's been so good to me, so I should at least chant 1 round. And he used to tell me later that Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that he is time, and you're saying you don't have time. Krishna knows how to elasticize time and give you time for chanting Hare Krishna. Oh, I thought that is a great scientific explanation for time. And what he was saying came true, because he was giving me attention, and they started chanting 4 rounds. And he told me that you'll see very soon you'll be able to do chanting nicely. And within a span of 2-3 months I was chanting 16 rounds, and I came and told him, you are right. I'm finding time to chant 16 rounds plus finding extra time too. Maybe what you said is right. So that's how my conviction sort of in Krishna consciousness grew. And it was all by the mercy of Vaishnavas, by Prabhupada's mercy, from the previous Acharyas, from Lord Chaitanya, from Nityananda Prabhu, from Krishna, flowing through very wonderfully. And I knew that internally I was reluctant, but I know externally I was walking into something. Internally there was a loud scream saying, don't do that, don't fall into it. But it was very attractive, very secure association of devotees and prasadam and the company. And in this way I walked in and completely destroyed my material plans, much to the dismay of many of my family members and relatives. And I remember my parents getting very, very concerned. And one fine day, I'm going and telling my mom, I have decided to resign my job and join. And my mom was quite a heavy-duty mom. I'm from a big family. I have 5. My Purva Ashrama, now I'm a sannyasi. So I had 5 sisters and 2 brothers. So we were totally 8 of us. Actually 10, 2 of them passed away. So I remember my mom was very intelligent. So she knew I was into it. So as soon as I said, I'm thinking of actually leaving this and joining full time, I remember she was knitting a sweater or something like that. And she gave me a very heavy look and immediately changed her face and said, that's okay, I have so many kids. One kid can be going in this direction, doesn't matter. I was most surprised. I was most surprised. In fact, she took the air out of the whole this thing. In fact, I was wondering, so really, you don't mind me joining? And then later, a senior devotee told me, your mom is very smart. She's adopting the principle that if you can't beat them, join them. So she is going to keep you with her. And that's why I said, doesn't matter. And I know that within the span of another 6 months, my mother got initiated, my father got initiated. And in the house, they stopped all other types of worship and they were chanting Hare Krishna, worshipping Krishna, offering prasadam. And in fact, I had to now sit and worry and concern myself about their Krishna consciousness. So this was an amazing change, like I was discussing when I look back in retrospect, how my life completely changed by the influence of Prabhupada's books and devotees is amazing. I'm just giving you a brief overview, but there could be many more details that we can talk about. But the fact is that Prabhupada's movement is a movement meant for transforming people, changing their hearts and sending them back to Godhead. It's no ordinary project. Each individual who comes in touch, he can get transformed and go back to Godhead. And we keep hearing about people actually who chant Hare Krishna and leave their bodies with devotees around them chanting Hare Krishna. And we know it's a wonderful exit from this world. So Srila Prabhupada's mercy and his powerful movement is an amazing program to send conditioned souls back to Godhead. And Prabhupada had a powerful plan and he presented it as 100% reality that we could change our life, we could become Krishna conscious, we can go back to Godhead. It's a reality. I believe in it and every devotee believes in it. So it's not an ordinary movement, it's not an ordinary organization that's part of the material world. It moves people from here back to Krishna Loka. So I'm happy to have gone through that change, and its history. How a person comes to Krishna consciousness is definitely a very interesting topic. And I know that there are many more devotees who have much more interesting, absorbing tales to relate about how they made this transformation and came to completely believe in the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, and await his mercy while rendering services as he deemed fit for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So I'm happy to be part of this wonderful moment and be a very small servant in helping Srila Prabhupada's mission to bring so many conditioned souls to his shelter. Hare Krishna.